this morning in an unscheduled broadcast because I was out on my bike ride and I was thinking about GCSE results. And in particular, I've been contacted by another friend whose relative hasn't done very well in their GCSEs, and we were chatting about it this morning. And so I wanted to come on and do a little bit of a vlog about it. And there's so many things going through my head. I'm not even sure I can get them all out. But obviously, as parents, as carers, we want our children to do as well as possible in their exams. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and what I want to say is that that's okay. It isn't the end of the world. At the time, we can feel incredibly disappointed and crestfallen, and perhaps all those lovely A grades that we were looking for haven't come to pass, but that's okay. And sometimes, perhaps we haven't got realistic expectations. Perhaps our expectations are disappointed, and it is hard, but perhaps in the long run, it's better that we know now actually what our children are capable of. I hope that doesn't sound too harsh. One of my experiences, I used to joke that, I've got 3 GCSEs in English language because I got my own and then I helped my children get theirs. And this was in the days where parents could actually help their children cheat in exams, because I used to help my children write their coursework essays. And of course the government realised this, and the third child, he wasn't allowed to bring his coursework home. And actually I look back now and I think I thought I was helping, but I wasn't helping, because those kids needed to pass that GCSE for themselves. What did it do to them? What confidence did it do to them to actually have their mum help them with their coursework? They don't have a sense of achievement. They might have got a better grade, but it wasn't their grade really. I've got a good GCSE English. It was my grade. And so, in a sense, if you rescue your children, if you help them like that, in the long term it backfires on you. What do kids learn? Even if they failed, they've learned that they have to work hard. And yes, my kids, one of them didn't do particularly well in their A levels, and as a result now they work really, really hard. Had to go off and work in the supermarket for a year, and that taught them a really good lesson. And then I also wanted to talk about the fact that this isn't the end of the world if they haven't done well. It's only the very, very start, and I know it's disappointing. It's the first set of public examinations that they've sat, but there is so much more to life than GCSE exams. I was talking to my beautician the other day, who's got a very young son. His dad is a builder, and this little boy was in his playgroup, and he was constructing a building with with some of the toys in the playgroup. And you think, yeah, he's probably not going to be a brain surgeon, that child, but he's going to be a bloody good builder. He's been practicing since he's about 3. The fact is that we all have different skills, and they're not all academic skills. But brain surgeons need builders. We've all got something to contribute to this world, and it isn't necessarily measured in academic results. There's so much more to life than academic results, and kids will learn. They'll learn through these results. Don't give up on them. Encourage them. Help them with their next step, because you'd be surprised at what they achieve. When I did my A levels, I came out with a reasonable set of results, but not as good as I wanted, and I was incredibly disappointed. And it's taken me an awful long time to get over that disappointment. And I think I pushed that disappointment onto my kids. And I wanted them to do well to make up for the fact that I didn't get straight A's. And yet now I look back on it and I thought, that's just daft, because what I did was I left school. I had reasonable A levels. Well, I didn't quite have the what I needed to be able to do the course that I needed. So I went off and did secretarial work for a while. And then I went to work in an organisation in London, and really, to be honest, I was a junior secretary in the CEO's office, and I was there for the sake of vanity, because he didn't need a second secretary. So he'd bring home work that he'd bring into the office, stuff that he'd worked on over the weekend. we'd have 2 days of furious typing, and then 3 days where I just sat and did nothing. It was so boring. And so I thought to myself, well, I think I'm going to read the entire works of Henry James, because I was next door to Camden Libraries. So they did these Henry James volumes, the most enormous hardback books. And so I brought that in and I sat with it in front of the typewriter. And my boss said, you can't read that here. You've got to look as though you've only just put down work, as they've only just finished. So just have a newspaper or something. I was so bored. So what did I do? I took myself off and I found every other secretary in the building and said, do you need me to do anything for you? And I tell you what, being in that really boring job, A, I then pulled my finger out and I did get to university, and B, I learned a lot of resilience, and I learned to look after myself, and that if I was bored, I needed to take control and I needed to go and do something about it. So, although these disappointing GCSE results, they may feel pretty awful at the moment, but honestly, your kids have so much in them and they will make good. Just believe in them. Another little funny story I just thought I'd mention, in terms of, as parents, we are the worst people to think that our kids are going to do well, especially if we're fairly pessimistic. So my oldest child, she's about to go off to America to visit her boyfriend, and she doesn't know him terribly well. He's been over here, and she chats away with him on the internet. They know each other well over the internet, not necessarily well face to face. But she's going to go and visit him recently, and someone said something. You think they're going to get married, do you? Oh my God, they're going to get married. So I said to her last night, I said, "Oh, you're not going to go to Las Vegas and get married, are you?" And everybody just fell about laughing. Her brothers and sister. They just sort of, Mum, she's more sensible than that. And of course you think, yes, yeah, she is actually. That was just me in a panic. As parents, we can get into a panic, and we forget that, in actual fact, we've brought our children up reasonably well. They are okay because we're okay, and we haven't done a terrible job. I know we get fearful and we think about all the things that we've done wrong, but in actual fact, we haven't done that badly, and they do know right from wrong on the whole. Trust them. And that's what I wanted to say this morning. Going back to the secretarial thing, it was just the start. And I'm 50 something. And I think I'm still developing. I'm still growing. I'm still becoming. Never give up on them. There's always room. And I've spoken to clients who maybe have dropped out of university multiple times, didn't really know what they wanted to do, and suddenly, they've found what it is that they need to do. They've developed a sense of responsibility. They've done all sorts of jobs, and each of those jobs, even if it was cleaning out toilets in McDonald's, has actually really helped them develop as a person. So don't give up. I know it's disappointing if they've got difficult GCSE results, but you'd be amazed at what they can achieve. I'm going to finish there because I've got to dash off to work.